It's not loading for
From
some reason.
people. Oscar is on your video, man. I love your cap.
Cheers, mate.
That is a very nice cap, to be honest, man.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
Oscar Hernandez. Huh?
He ended with a 100% win record, by the way.
We can actually also talk about the way Xavi was treated by the club. We can
Yeah,
start
that'd
with
be
that.
good. Yeah,
So
that'd
many
be
things
good.
to talk
Ah,
about.
about the maybe we can do that after the Cubarsi because I think that is an interesting topic.
All right,
Yeah.
yeah. Because Cubarsi is fresh news.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
surely. Rishabh, you can join with phone, man. I think your video is.
I thought of
Yeah.
joining from the laptop and using my phone to see if anything is happening around.
None of us are wearing the jersey.
And if
I like that.
if someone can tell in the group to Marco that we are on, so that someone can share in
I'm
Twitter
just
and
gonna
all that.
message him.
Okay, because I cannot do in the moment.
I'm just gonna message Marco. Marco, we are starting this stream in a minute, right?
Yeah.
But I'll try to remove
Actually-
myself once and then rejoin.
I hope Pleb could join. I love Pleb. Oscar, you were in the UK?
Yeah, so I'm in near Liverpool.
Liverpool. Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, it's okay. It's okay.
But do you live in there? Do you live in Liverpool? Oh.
Yeah, about 15 minutes out of Liverpool.
Okay. Nice.
Nice. My sister is going to London in September for Royal College of Arts for studies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
one of those.
probably
Whenever we go back down,
next year, if
when
I
we
get
get
guys
back
back,
down,
I'm gonna
it's
meet you.
a 4-0 game again every single time.
Yeah.
Oscar, is it as depressing as they say in Liverpool, man?
Yeah,
Or
it's pretty
near Liverpool?
depressing. It's
Oscar is
yeah.
Liverpool Echo.
Yeah, no, it's pretty depressing. I can't lie. It's not the most exotic of places.
Yeah.
Where are you from, Naruto, man?
I am for
Japan.
who you are talking with me or no? Yeah, no?
Sorry, from where? I didn't get you.
I'm from Brazil, man. Brazil, Salva, Brazil.
Wow.
Yeah, that's quite a little bit far, no? In a city called.
So many young from Brazil.
Yeah.
West Ham is signing that kid, no, Luis Guilherme. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but
Luis Guilherme. Oh no.
yeah.
But I think
Man, Esteva is going to Chelsea. I hate that, man. Rishabh,
Pulkit
your
was so
videos are
sad about
doing
Esteva Willian going to Chelsea.
Chelsea signing every damn kid in the world, aren't they?
Yeah, they'll ruin every
I
single
don't know
one
why
though.
they signed Esteva after they already got Kendry Paez from the Ecuadorian kid. He's also very highly rated.
I think
so.
Esteva was
Let's
sold from us
welcome
and
everybody
can't
to the
sign
stream.
because of
We are
course,
here
Lamine
on
and our
to
financial
our
problems.
first
But it's just sad.
live show here in
You
the
can't move
BarcaBuzz
until 2025 though, can you, Esteban?
in the BarcaBuzz
Yeah, you can't.
It's
But that's the
some
thing, we
kind of
could have
law or something.
agreed a deal now and for him to
in
join
the
next
BarcaBuzz
summer,
channel
which is the
to
summer
talk
of
Yeah,
about
2027.
yeah.
a lot of
It seemed like
Barca
entering to
topics
Real Madrid, right? They
related,
signed him last summer,
transfer
but he'll
news,
join this
Yeah,
season.
news
it'd
about
been a bit of
Hansi
a commit.
Flick,
I really
all of
wanted him to
that.
sign,
As you guys
but
can
it'd
see,
been a bit of a
I'm
Yeah.
joined
commitment.
by
The web Barcelona, I think it's a tough one, and
by
but
these
you've got
lads in
Lamine,
here.
And I thought
Coutinho,
because
and that.
Just let me
and you know what,
do
Oscar? Because I thought we
just let me do something here. No.
when he was about to go to Chelsea.
So yeah,
So I thought that
I'll
Nico was
and
making a
Esteva
decision at
I'll be
that
to-
time.
expressed his
be telling
desire
them that we
to
are
join
on, and then we
Barcelona, right?
can
Yeah.
start chatting.
It must
And
be
of
our
course,
financial
I'll be
issue.
following your
Yeah.
I think
guys'
so. I think
questions
it's about,
and
was it about
everything that
40
you wanna know.
million euros?
We'll
I
be
think
able
he went for.
to
25.
Oh, really? Was
to
that
solve
cheap?
here in in the stream.
Yeah, I think he's going to Chelsea for 25, with of course some add-ons would be there, but yeah.
Yeah,
So then
that's
the
I
true.
thought
final
I
price
thought it was
was
more around
far more than
46.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was about
Oh,
40.
But yeah, lads, I
The
think
first offer
now.
which
unless I'm
Chelsea
wrong.
made was around 25, then Palmeiras they rejected that, and then the final fee went around 45, 50 something.
Hmm. Rishabh, your video is not working, man.
Yeah, I know.
I think
Still loading for some
So did
reason.
you try? Are you joining with your phone? Is the phone also not working?
Yeah.
if you want, bro, if you're not able to put your camera, then if you don't mind, just turn it off so that in the stream it doesn't it doesn't appear
Yeah,
like the 3 points
Yeah, sure.
there.
I'll turn it off.
but Rishabh is beautiful. I wanted to see his face, but it's okay.
No, whenever you are able to connect, feel free, bro. But yeah, guys, now we are on 100%. For now, I think there is nobody in the chat. Only Aradai VJ. Welcome, man. Welcome to the chat. And yo, Feng, Subnemam, welcome, lads. Also Ezekiel at the Facebook chat. Here we have the YouTube chat and the Facebook as well. So you guys can choose wherever you want to go. I am with Oscar, man. How are you doing, bro? Welcome to the stream.
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's been a crazy last month with Barca news. I mean, every single day I thought, oh, just calm down a little bit today. It's calmed down a little bit, and then bang, something else crazy is happening. It's just, I think it's gonna be like that all summer, though. I think we're in for a 2022 style mad summer where expect the unexpected this summer. I think all the targets that have been spoken about at this moment in time, it probably won't transpire that those targets end up at the club. It'll be totally different ones. It's just
As
the way
always,
it is with Barca at this moment in time. It's exciting, but it's chaotic. So it's good and bad, I guess. But yeah, it's been absolutely crazy with Barca, hasn't it? Pretty much since Ronald Araujo took out Bradley Barcola in the Champions League quarter-final. So it has been, ever since that moment, it's been crazy. It's been news every single day. And yeah, it's just fine. I think the last couple of days, it has calmed down a little bit, though.
Oh, thankfully, bro.
Yeah.
Because since we will talk about it more deeply, but since all the things happening with Xavi, it has, as you said, it's been non-stop news every time. He will stay, won't stay, will be fired. And to be honest, as a Barca fan, it has tired me a lot, to be honest. And the last days have been a little bit more chill. But we'll be talking everything here. And Pookie T, how are you, bro? Welcome. Are you as excited as Oscar to the transfer arena or not, bro?
Oscar sounds like a journalist from Sky Sports.
Exactly, man.
I
The man knows.
say that.
The man's a
I'll take
broadcaster,
that.
bro.
Like a pundit from Sky Sports. Yeah, like I can imagine him sitting with Jamie Carragher and Micah Richards and TT, and just having a great laugh at one of our post-match interviews or something like that, and doing the match analysis. Love you guys. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, no, Oscar is a professional, man. The man knows. And we also have, I'm sorry, but I don't know your name, but we have Naruto enthusiast with us. Welcome, Trey, It's because I don't know, man. I didn't know you before, so I'm sorry. But welcome to the stream, man. How are you?
No, you're good. I'm good. Funny story. I'm not on the professional account that I use when I'm trying to, do personal or like business related, well, not business, but personal things like this, and I involve my name. So I apologize, but yeah, just to echo
Okay.
the sentiments of Oscar, man. I'm excited for the summer, but I'm kind of jealous of the clubs that don't have all the madness in terms of the media all summer long when it comes to the transfer market. But
Me too, bro.
that comes with the club, and I'm excited. So we'll see what the summer holds.
I think that is a little bit of how can I say, the good and bad of Barca, no? The good is that we always have a lot of things to talk about, but the bad is that a lot of time is stressing. Let me see something. Subnaman, bro, you sound Indian. Oh, thank you, man. I don't know if that is a good comment or not, but okay. Mikel confused me, to be honest, but he will be a quality signer. Mikel Marino, yeah, we'll talk about that, bro. It's an interesting one to say the least, bro. But we will talk about it soon. And we have also, he's not in the in the stream with the camera, but he's here as well. Rishav, how are you doing, bro? Welcome.
Yeah, I'm great, and I hope that everyone else is feeling the same, and everyone watching is great as well.
Yeah.
And this is going to be my fifth summer transfer window, which I'll cover as the lead admin of BarcaBuzz, I think. Yeah, it's the fifth one.
Wow,
And
wow.
First of most, bro.
to be
First
very
of
honest,
most. Of a
yeah,
lot.
the 2022 was the best one. Obviously, everything which happened around Rafinha, Lewandowski, and especially Kunde, how we signed Kunde was it was
Bro, that
it was ridiculous, honestly. Like around 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning, we were covering news.
Yeah.
And to be honest, 2021 was kind of sad, with especially with everything which happened around Leo Messi. And 2020 was a quiet one, and the same goes for 2023. Now let's see what happens this year. I personally think that till the first week of July, things will be kind of quiet, especially with the two huge continental competitions which we have,
mm,
Yeah.
the Euros and the Copa America. And
yeah.
once the teams start to get eliminated from the tournaments, I think the transfer news will heat up. But before that, I think that the media will also focus on the international matches which will be going around in
Mm.
the two tournaments.
Mm. I think
Mhm.
just to mention the 2022 January window when we signed Oba, I
Mm-hmm.
think that was a crazy one as well. The last day.
Yeah, and then it was a crazy one because
Crazy.
it was for, if I don't remember wrong, it was for free that sign, and he was still under contract
Yeah,
with Arsenal, and it was probably one of the most
yeah.
impactful signings in a short
Of
amount of
course,
time,
man,
no?
of course. That 4-0 at the Bernabeu,
Yeah,
beautiful game that. And you remember if
Mhm.
you've seen All or Nothing Arsenal in that documentary also, when the stuff between Arteta and Oba happens, and they were wondering where Oba has went, then Edu, the sporting director of Arsenal, he mentioned he's in Barcelona. So
yeah,
someone like on social media it was discovered that he's in Barcelona, and at that time it was like he was just on a trip there, but he ended up signing with us. It was
No,
a
it was
crazy.
Gerard Romero who leaked the images of Aubameyang at the Barcelona
Yeah,
airport, and from there only
yeah,
Arsenal came to me. Even Arsenal didn't know, but Gerard Romero and Gigantes FC they
yeah,
knew.
yeah.
yeah.
Who he
No,
Gigantes FC.
was
Yeah,
in
yeah.
that summer window. The man was on it, bro, giving all of his exclusives. Someone here in the chat,
Romero in
man.
2023 was
Yeah, yeah.
different gravy.
No, no, it was
Yeah.
the man was crazy. Before we go to the topic, someone here is already asking in the chat, "What's up with Xavi Simons?" It's a great opportunity for us to grab. What do you guys think about Xavi Simons? I will find the tweet about him, and then you guys can tell your opinion. Meanwhile,
Oscar, you go first.
And yeah, by all means, I think it's one that Barca, you're looking at the potential fee. There is no fee, it's a
yeah,
loan. Yes, the
Mm.
worry is, are you developing someone else's player potentially? But to me, it feels like Xavi Simons and PSG, it feels like that's not going to be a relationship that's going to last much longer anyway, no matter what happens this
Yeah.
summer. So it feels like there is tension there anyway. I think Simons was a bit annoyed. He wasn't really given a chance before this season by PSG, and
yeah,
listen, he's clearly, in a similar way to Wirtz and Cesc
here,
Fabregas all those years ago, he's flirting with Barca, isn't he? He's him himself is flirting with Barca at this moment in time. So it does feel like there's nothing really to lose here for Barca. The fact he's alone, the fact he's a player that suits the Barca style, the fact he's come through, um, the academy, he's ingrained with the Barcelona way. It feels like one that makes a lot of sense in terms of where he can play
Mm-hmm.
positionally. I think it can potentially. I think we've already mentioned about the need for a left winger. Simons can play
Mm-hmm.
there. He's not a natural left winger, but
Mhm.
in terms of what Flick wants in his 4-2-3-1, if you've got Pedri playing as like a number 10 and Simons, you've got that combination on that left hand side, Balde on the overlap. That seems ideal to me. I think it makes a lot of sense, really, Simons. I really do. And maybe it's not the most marquee signings of marquee signings, but it's a very sensible bit of business for me from Barca. But by the looks of things, since Hansi Flick has been kind of appointed, the whole kind of like noise around Simons has kind of seemed
Yeah.
to quieten down now. I think I've seen mentions of Bayern looking at Simons. But yeah, it feels to me like one that can definitely happen. I think there's no reason why not. The player wants it. The fee isn't too bad. It's just wages at this moment in time. Of course,
Mhm.
there is the concern about are you developing someone else's player. But for me, beggars can't be choosers for Barca at this moment in time. And Simons,
Exactly.
it feels like ideal for what Barca's situation is. And for me, Simons, Pedri, Yamal, and hopefully a rejuvenated Lewandowski on the flick feels
Yeah.
like an exciting front four and something to really build from an attacking point of view for a change for Barca.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think you're right, but there are a few caveats, right? Now PSG, of course, the reason that it's quieted down is because Hansi Flick has not yet started working like fully
Of course.
with the club. He has not yet arrived here and like working with the sporting director and the club in terms of transfers and everything. The other thing would be that since now Mbappe is finally gone to Real Madrid, I think PSG will have to offer Simmons a more key role in their first team if they want to. That is, so they might convince him to stay, that he will play a key role in our team with Mbappe gone because they need it. So they might improve his deal, offer him more money along with a main role in the team. That could convince him. And I do agree that he does fit into the Barca system. He is, of course, La Masia,
Yeah.
and he wants to come back. And I think when he left, I also there was some piece of news that he wanted to come back, like people who leave Barca do. Of course, Neymar is Exhibit A. So I think that might work. The other thing I would like, why I would like Simons, is that you remember the second leg at the Bernabeu, Leipzig versus Madrid, Madrid versus Leipzig. Sorry, Leipzig almost won that game. They missed so many
Hmm.
chances. If you've seen the highlights, if not the full game, and Simons did miss a few chances. He was
He
one
played
of
very
the
well the
key
game.
players, and yeah, and playing that way in Madrid in a Champions League quarter final, it was, I think,
He was
in
around
the
the
second
16.
leg, it speaks
Yeah.
volumes. I mean, so he is, of course, he was motivated because of his Barca days to perform against Madrid and to prove himself. So I
Yeah.
think he could be a good addition, but we'll have to see. There'll be a loan fee. I'm assuming, and at least given our financial situation, if not full, but like 80% of his wages might be covered by us, something on those lines, because we need FFP margin and we need to sign other players also. So we'll have to see. And of course, PSG and Barca don't have the best of relationships, do they?
Not at all.
So a lot of things are at play here. So we'll have to see.
uh, yeah, just then Trey can talk it as well. I think it would be a very interesting signing because, as you guys said, he can play at the left, can play at the midfield. He's a very complete player, no, and can give different solutions on the pitch. But maybe what maybe it's giving Barca a little bit of doubts. I am putting a tweet in the stream that there's a lot of clubs that are interested in him as well, as you guys said. And dealing with PSG for Barca is always a little bit of a pain, no? Especially if, with all of the deals that happen or around the years, Neymar, Dembele, all of that. So maybe that's a little bit of the problem. I wouldn't mind him. I think he will give a little bit. He will give a lot to the team. But if Barca don't go for him and go for other players that maybe we'll talk about later, Nico Williams and all of that, I think it would be good. No, but what do you think, Treyman, about Xavi Simons? Just to complete
Uh,
the topic.
just to echo what Oscar and Pookie said earlier, yeah, I mean, it will be a pretty marquee. Well, for the circumstances that Barca are in, it will be a pretty, I'd say, marquee signing, just based on the whole the financials and everything, and the fact it wouldn't be a straight transfer. At this time, it would be a straight loan, which
Yeah.
it's kind of unfortunate in the grand scheme of things because you want a player like that tied to your club for as long as you can tie him down. But even bringing that guy in, just for a loan spell would be fantastic. He does, of course, he's not the guy that can sit there and just hold width like uh, Xavi said in the past would really love from his wingers, but he's an impactful player, really impactful player. Like you said, can play down the middle, can play on the left. Just the possibilities of link up play between guys like Balde, guys like Pedri,
Mm-hmm.
even Lewandowski up front of that attack in that forward lineup. It would be a pretty positive signing. Now, like Pokey said, there are, of course, other clubs vying for his signature, simply because he's just that impactful of a player and would fit into a lot of other clubs' plans immediately. So we'll have to see how Barca fares with that. But um, if it all can come together, it will be a pretty a pretty good addition for Barca until they can bring in a longer term option to where they don't have to worry about consistently bringing in option after option on that left side, which is it's been pretty um, volatile for a couple years now. So it's
Mm-hmm.
finding that long term solution. Even after bringing in Simons, if Simons is that option, they can bring in Simons permanently. With we don't know, with Barca's financial situation at the time. Well, with FFP, I should say.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
it would be a pretty nice signing just for short term, and then we can see how it goes moving forward.
Yeah, talking about the left wing, Panic Monster asks, Nico or Diaz, who do you guys go for? I personally would go for Nico, man. I want to see what the lads
Yeah.
think about. But way younger, I think would be cheaper, to be honest, because he has a 50 million release clause now. And probably Diaz, you would have to negotiate with Liverpool, and I don't think would be cheap. And already knows a lot of the Barca players because they have the connection in the Spanish national team. So I see more positives on Nico than Luis Diaz, but both are very good players, of course. But I think Nico will be better.
And he's younger also, Nico. I think 6, 7 years younger.
I think Nico
Yeah.
is. Let me check here, but I think Nico is 20, 21,
He is
22,
6 years younger, I think.
6, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nico.
And he knows La Liga. He's played La Liga.
Yeah, 21. And Diaz 27, 28. No?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the fact that Luis Diaz did have that injury in the past, and well, that's
Yeah.
one thing. He did have that major knee injury in the past, and the fact that sometimes on the pitch he can be a little chaotic. Sometimes he's a
Yeah.
little bit chaotic sometimes, and that can disrupt the flow of the type of football that Barcelona likes to play most of the time. So um, I prefer Nico Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, of course
Yeah.
he's younger. Has a lot more pace. He's been dribbling fantastic. Knows the league. Knows the country. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd take Nico Williams. But of course, Luis Diaz is a very good player in his own right. So
Yeah, I think out of the two, I'd say I'm not massively sold on Nico yet. In terms
Mm-hmm.
of, I think in
mhm.
terms of the left wing market, I think there's a lot of different options. Obviously, Simons is another one there. I can't see Barca signing Simons and Williams, for
Yeah.
example. So
Uh, Me neither.
I think Williams is a very good player. I think he's had a very good season for Bilbao, but be a little bit more cautious there. I think in terms of that option, I think Diaz is a good player. I definitely agree. I think it's a sign that Barca have got to avoid those kind of signings now in terms of players that are kind of into their late 20s and still, erratic as Trey said. He is Diaz probably is. Diaz 2 years ago, I'd have said 100% for Barca. Before that
Oh,
injury,
for
they
Yeah.
said what a player,
Mm-hmm.
wow, what an option to have on
Yeah.
that left wing, and a real someone who can really elevate the attack. And is Nico Williams that player? Who knows? But I think it's more likely to be Nico Williams who's that player. And I think another thing to consider is Lamine Yamal is going to be the star of this attack. If this
For
Barca
sure.
team is going to flow next season, it's going to be Yamal who's going to be the star man of the attack. And it almost feels to me like you just need almost backup singers to Lamine Yamal, kind of on that left hand side. Players that are just going to
Mm.
Mhm.
move into space and allow just Lamine just to express himself to the maximum possible. Of course, Lamine will only be 17 at the start of next season, so we can't put all the eggs in the Lamine Yamal basket, but I do think that's got to be a consideration as well on the left wing, whether you go for a different type of profile, more of a goal scoring profile.
Mhm.
That could be an option as well. But I think out of all the options mentioned, I think Nico would be my choice. But I think it's got to be worth saying that Rafinha's output on that left hand side has been fantastic, really. And I think the
Amazing.
way
I
Rafinha,
don't. I don't understand the
Underrated.
Yeah.
disrespect of Rafinha. Any
yes,
thoughts,
Yeah.
mate,
Rishabh,
it's
on this?
crazy, mate. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's
It's
a question
absolutely
Rishabh,
that
your
crazy.
thoughts on this?
sorry for interrupting, but that's a question that I have for you guys. Would you go for Nico if it means that we have to sell Rafinha or not?
No, 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 no.
Wouldn't
I
go,
think
no.
that'll be a
No,
mistake. You see that Rafinha playing out of position. He played so well against PS. You remember that game, first leg.
Nine,
He
both
played
both
so
both
so
games. It
well
was
against PSG.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and being
Fine.
asked to be being asked to play not in his favorite position,
Exactly.
being played out of position and being replaced by a 16-year-old man. It's so disrespectful and it's so demotivating. It can be for a player, but Rafinha,
Mhm.
because he he's a professional, and he has done so well on that left hand side. I mean, so good. And I think it'll be a major loss if we sell him, unless we do sell him for like 100 million or something, which I find hard that we can pull that off.
Yeah,
Rishabh, any
Yeah.
thoughts on this? We have
people
to
in the chat are saying as well that they wouldn't sell Rafinha. I don't know if there's a point, bro, because the guy has already showed that he has the enough level to play at Barca to be the main man in the left wing, or of course in the right there is Lamine, but if he needs to play there, he will do the job as well. So
so much better than João Felix, by the way.
for
So
sure.
much better than João.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would
Sure.
miles before prefer get rid of João Felix than Rafinha, man. And I don't know why the club doesn't think like that.
Mhm.
You know why, no?
João
I
Mendes,
just
man.
don't
Yeah.
see.
João Mendes.
Exactly. That's the
Rafinha
Yeah,
doesn't have João
exactly.
Mendes association.
Yeah,
Oh.
go on, Rishabh, go on.
Look, there's a question here. Wouldn't you prefer to sell Rafinha even if Saudi clubs offer 80 mil? But the thing, bro, would I guarantee to get the players that we want? I don't know, man. I don't know if would, because you have to
I
see.
think if we sell him for 80,
Why do we have to get rid of such a good player to get another one like Nico Williams? That of course is a very good player, but does he improve Rafinha? I don't know, man. I'm not so sure.
I think if we sell him for 80,
last season.
Yeah, go on.
yeah, go on, go on.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate. It's like I've just read out his stats from last season. In 17 starts, he got 6 goals and 9 assists, and that's just in the league. And then you look into the Champions League. Champions League, he's got 3 goals, 3 assists in 7 games, and not all of them are starts. I just don't see Nico Williams. I think is a very good player. He's more exciting, I guess, because he can take on a fullback. He's quicker,
Yeah.
etc., etc. But in the here and now, Barca have got to think not just in the future. They've got to think in the here and now. Real Madrid are building a super team, and
Yeah.
Barca needs to be able to compete with that in the here and now. Otherwise, there isn't much future. Yeah, if Barca can't compete at all in the here and now, and you need guaranteed output. And I think Rafinha's as close as you get to that in terms of Barcelona's attacking players, and them stats alone. I just don't see a world where Nico Williams comes into the team as good as he is and betters that, and that's the way Barca for me. I've got to think about it a little bit as well. It's all well and good saying we can sell for 80 million, but you've then got to replace him, and all of a sudden that 80 million, it doesn't seem that big.
One
If you
question
say
I
you
wanted
spend
to ask you guys. Yeah,
Go on.
one question I wanted to ask you guys. Would you have like João Felix on loan for another season, or have Xavi Simons?
Simons.
Simons,
Felix
100%.
can't come back.
Yeah, Simons as well. Yeah, probably even.
The João's, honestly, the João's time at Barca should be as much as Cancelo had a decent spell. His head absolutely went after that PSG game. Honestly, defensively, some of the defending from him.
He went down the
It's been
drain.
a constant theme with Cancelo. Amazing player, but for me, the João's, I think that chapter has to be closed now. I think Barca do need to be ruthless there, but with Mr. Mendes, is that possible? Who knows? It should be, and that shows everything that's wrong with Barca. If for me, not to be too harsh, but the João's do come back, at the expense of other signings and other top players leaving to allow it to happen, Barca aren't going to progress much.
I think just buy João Cancelo for like 25 million and sell him for like 50 for 60 million to Saudi like next season. I think
That's a good idea.
I don't know, man. The problem that we have at Barca is I don't know what. Well, I know, but it's frustrating that every summer transfer window it looks like we have to sell someone to bring another player or to I don't know to get the fair play and all of that. Why can we not stay with the same team and go on? I have been reading the news that Flick his main goal is to improve the team that he has already. And if he can get 1 or 2 players that massively improve the team, he will. But he's happy with the current team now. I think that's the right thinking, the right mentality. Because I think the players that we have already are good enough to compete with everything. Of course, as Oscar was saying, Madrid has a very good team, and with Mbappe, their team is ridiculous. But if Barca plays the best that they can, which unfortunately this season we weren't able to see because of injuries and a lot of other things. But if we do, I don't know why we cannot think that Barca can do a good season next season. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, Sorry, Trey.
No, I was just saying. I mean, yeah, it's a very good squad that Barca has. I mean, the only holes that you could probably pinpoint is
Yeah.
probably left wing and defensive midfield, and that's about it. You have talent everywhere. You have reinforcements that are coming back next year as well. Uh, of course, that back line is certified. Ter Stegen. However you feel about him, he's a good keeper. You still have plenty of talent at midfield, and you still have plenty of talent at forward line. You just have a couple positions to be filled. It's all about maximizing the profiles that they do have so you can get the maximum output possible. Now, the question does become, what's the ceiling of this squad if you do maximize the profiles that you have present? And, we don't know for sure yet because the squad has just not been at the top level that, presents with the talent
I gotta
within
go
the
out
squad. So,
I gotta go out for a meeting, but you guys can continue to chat. I'll come quickly.
Yeah.
But go on.
yeah,
Yeah. Go on.
but it's all about maximizing the profiles that exist, in terms of the talent that's within the squad. So we'll see if Flick can do that. But this squad is a good squad, very talented, has a lot of
Yeah.
different profiles that you need. It's just all about finding that right uh, system, that right. I mean, of course, the answer is obvious, right? In finding the right coach with the right structure and system and the right support around them. But uh, that's so tough to bank on because Barca just had that problem for years now, just trying to find that right guy. So I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure
Rishabh, your thoughts
you
on this?
say it again.
Rishabh, your thoughts on this? Is Rishabh there?
Thoughts on the squad we have?
I'm back.
Yeah, to be honest, as Trey already said, the squad is pretty good, apart from some few deficiencies like the left winger and ball winning midfielder, someone who could cover up for the turnovers which we are victim of. And apart from that, if we are able to, then I would, as you all know, I would like to upgrade on Ter Stegen. I don't think he has been a proper keeper for us, especially in the Champions League games.
That
And
is an
apart from
interesting
that,
topic.
yeah, it's a good,
I do agree on
yeah, it's
Shagan.
a
I've got to be
good mixture
honest.
of youth and experience which we have in our squad right now. Like the experienced players you can speak of, Gundogan or Lewandowski. They are serial winners at different clubs. Then we have brilliant youngsters, obviously, two Golden Boy winners, one of Golden Boy winners. One of them is sadly out with injury right now, but he's scheduled to return in the next months. And we have got the likes of Cubarsi, Lamine Yamal, and all those guys, and it's a brilliant squad, obviously. But
Yeah.
now it's up to the coach to utilize them and help them improve. Which Xavi kind of regressed at the end of his tenure. He overplayed Lamine Yamal and Kubasi in the last few games, even when there was no need of doing that.
Yeah, for me as
And
well.
like those things, Flick has to cover, and then he has to manage the minutes as well. He has to improve the players for the long
So I think
term.
Rishabh, he had to
And
finish second also, right? So he had to play Lamine and Cubarsi. We needed to
Hmm
finish second.
yeah, but
So
Lamine
because we
started
could
the
have
last
finished
game of the
third
season as well, and there was no need of doing that.
The last game,
We
of course,
already
right,
had
right.
secured the second position.
Yeah, I
And,
agree.
but it was I don't know, maybe it was because he already knew it was his last game, so I don't know, he wanted
Yeah.
to finish the best way
Yeah,
possible
possibly.
with a win and go on from there. No, the lads, there is someone in the chat, Ilus 17, I think, that I agree with you guys. He says Ter Stegen is not a good keeper. Celtic Al Ittihad. That is an interesting one because. I agree with you guys that Ter Stegen performances maybe can be debatable at some times, especially at Champions League. But I think I personally wouldn't sell him because it's kind of you are having another problem. No, you are selling a keeper that is. He's a very good keeper, but can fail sometimes. But you have to bring another one, no. And I don't know if Barca can sign a keeper that is better than Ter Stegen, no. That is my only doubt.
I think Rishabh is our
Absolutely.
goalkeeping coach. I think Rishabh
Goalkeeping
should start
coach.
this one because
Yeah,
he's our
well, I
goalkeeping coach.
already say I always say this that sell players only if you are able to upgrade on them.
I'm
Of
sorry,
course.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. But yeah,
Yeah, of course.
that's the
I
point.
mean,
That's the
but
point.
for me, you can upgrade onto Stegen. I do believe that.
Yeah?
I know he's not. I wouldn't say he's a terrible keeper, but I think
Oh.
to Stegen's age as well, I just don't really think realistically you know, in terms of his ball playing out the back, that's fine. That's not a problem. Other than that game against Valencia, when
he
whatever
made
he
Yeah.
was trying to do in that game against Valencia, who knows? But it happens. It's one of them things. But I think, I definitely agree with Rishab. I just don't think to Stegen it's going to improve enough. I just look at it and think, you know, say for example, just going to throw a name out there. You know, it might be totally unrealistic. But say Emiliano Martinez, for example. I think not just the fact that I think he's a better goalkeeper than ter Stegen, it's the mentality of Martinez. Martinez goes into like Champions League games, for example, thinking he can win Barca the game. For me, ter Stegen, it feels like he goes into the games thinking, I hope I don't cost Barca today. It just feels like his body language to me from time to time, and I do think that's a position where, don't get me wrong, I think DM number 6 is still a priority for me in terms of, because Barca don't have an option there really at this moment in time. But I think alongside a left winger, but as Trey mentioned as well, I think a goalkeeper for me, that would be my 3, profiles. You know, I think 6 left winger and the goalkeeper. I just think for Stegen himself, I think it's got to a point where I think it's better for him to move on. I personally think he's too good for Saudi. I think he can still do a very good job for a team lower down the league, slightly, not much lower down the league, but a team that's maybe more Europa League, that kind of thing. But I do think ter Stegen can be upgraded on. It won't be
But I think
easy, and
he'll
obviously it's a risk, but it can be done.
go to Saudi only. I think players like Ter Stegen, Lewandowski, Cancelo, they are past their prime now. I think, and the only place, only place for them to go is Saudi. So that Japanese German goalkeeper Mio Bakaus, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He's a very good keeper. He's 20 years old and a wonderful goalkeeper. I don't know the team he plays for. I think
Was
he's
he in Germany?
yeah, the Japanese German goalkeeper.
Wasn't he on loan for
It's
from
owned
Werder
by
What
Werder
was
Bremen?
the name
Bremen, I
now?
guess, and he's on
Yeah,
loan at some Dutch club.
yeah. So I think that
Yes,
is
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
yeah. There are a couple of good young goalkeepers out there that we can target, and if we have the money and if they have like a release clause, it can be signed for cheap. Then we can go for them. I think something like that can do.
Yeah,
First,
and
Pure Barcelona, welcome to the stream, man. You see that you are there, man. Feel free to join the chat
Oh,
as well.
thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
No, welcome, man. Is it what's his name? The Valencia one, man. Mamardashvili ends contract this year or the next one?
yeah.
I think the next one. No, let me check. But he will be a decent option as well. I like it him personally, but let me see.
Speaking
know
of
there
people
was
who are out of contracts, can we go on to Mikel Merino? Or you want to discuss Cubarsi first?
Let me just see what the lads are saying in the chat. Then we can. Someone said here that about the Julian Alvarez rumors. To be honest, I hadn't heard about it, but we can chat
That's
about
not
it.
going to happen,
Feels a
guys.
bit
Yeah,
I've
it's
tense.
not
heard
gonna happen, no?
Julian Alvarez rumors about Atletico Madrid, but nothing about Barcelona so far.
Yeah,
And I
that's
honestly don't see Barca being able to afford such a move right now.
No.
the
We
only
had the
the only
opportunity to
top flight
sign him when
Spanish
we were
club that
signing when we were signing Ferran Torres. We had the opportunity to sign Alvarez. We didn't go for Alvarez. We went for I think 3 times more expensive Ferran Torres, and he is good for Spain though. To be
yeah.
fair, not good for Barcelona because he hasn't played that much
I think
with
Julian
Barca.
Alvarez. Sorry, he had I don't know if it was I think 25 million release clause, man, when he was a River Plate. But of course, Barca, I don't know, wasn't sure about
But
signing
City
him.
signed him for 16 million.
Yeah, no.
City signed him for 17 million. Yeah,
For, how much? 16 or 60?
16, 17 million.
16.
City signed
Yeah,
him for
and
yes.
then we signed Ferran Torres for 65. But yeah, that's how things goes. Where is Human Son? Because
oh god,
it looks like Human Son. To be
Yeah,
honest.
I get so many of these comments
goodness.
comparing me to Song because we kind of look alike.
To be honest, a little bit, bro.
Oh man, if he looks like and if he plays like Human Son, we have our left wing problem solved.
Oh, Human Son Barca wouldn't be
I
a
think-
bad one, bro.
Yes,
If it
sir.
was
I actually do play left wing when I do play football and like in real
Yeah?
life. Yeah, I do play left wing. So if
Wow,
someone wants to
man.
send me, they can
send
call me.
some scouts, man, to Barca, bro, so they can see you there.
Get you on trial, man. We'll get you a spot over there, man.
Can we move on to Cubarsi?
Yeah,
Any
yeah, yeah.
burning
Let's
questions?
let's do it. Probably everybody knows, no, the lads in the chat and everybody that Cubarsi, unfortunately, was well, unfortunately, but he was cut off. The surprisingly, I think that's the right word, no, of the Spain
Yeah.
uh, last list, no, of the. I think I got out. Oh, wait a moment. I think I got disconnected. Wait. I think we're back. We're back or not?
I thought my connection had some issues. I was checking that.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
No, but yeah, Cubarsi got out the last list of the Spain to the Euros. No, that is an interesting topic because for one side he will be able to rest a little bit, but he will play the Olympic Games for sure, and that is where the Barca part comes in because I didn't know that, but I read it that he will be out basically all of the preseason. So that's the point that I want to talk with you guys and also the lads in the chat. Say tell your opinion. What you guys think? This was the right
That is
decision
the
to cut him off
worst thing
or
that can happen to a 16-year-old, I would tell you.
yeah?
Because
Go
it's
on.
the new manager is here. He needs all his best players, and no matter who says what, Kubarsi was one of our best defenders this season. His ball playing ability, his pass to Fermin in that game against Napoli, and other passes also, just cutting through the entire defense of the opposition. It's so good, man, for a 16-year-old. He's playing like a 28-year-old. And for him to miss the preseason under a new manager, a new system, it's the worst thing that can happen to him, honestly. And
Hmm.
the other thing, of course, is the injury. And we
Mm-hmm.
don't want a Pedri thing to repeat. So we
Yeah.
don't want that. So, Rishabh, your thoughts on this?
Personally, I definitely would have wanted to see him at the Euros rather than the
Hmm.
Olympic
Of
Games. And
course.
as you
Yeah.
said, missing the
Nah, for
preseason
sure,
under
bro.
the new manager is
Hmm.
definitely detrimental for any player, leave aside a 17-year-old who will be playing his first full season for the first team.
Hmm.
And sadly, we can't change it now. And on one hand, it's a positive thing that he won't be part of both tournaments like Petri did in 2021. Yeah, I would have definitely wanted to see him in the Euros and it's a much better tournament, much bigger tournament with more important teams and better players. You face better opponents and you become a better
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
And that's what would have happened if he played in the Euros and he would have like trained with the first team players. Now he has to train with under 21 kids, and that's obviously his age group right now. But he's too good for that, and that's why he has been playing for the first team. But yeah, he'll go to France now to Paris for the Olympic Games, and hopefully Spain can win the gold medal this time instead of the silver which they won 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what kind of confuses me about Kubarsi not being picked for the Euro squad is this is not speaking on Barca's point of view or maybe more so Kubarsi like uh, I think more so it just confuses me on the fact that when you look at Spain's squad, and I was just looking over the squad this morning, I seen a couple of people talking about this. It's their lack of ball playing center backs in that squad, like legit ones that can at least function out the back, passing wise. I mean, of course, the big one that stands out is Laporte.
Mm-hmm.
Former Manchester City man. He's over playing in Saudi now. But other than that, I mean, what other ball playing center back can you really
Yeah.
rely on upcoming with the Euros? That's why I thought I thought it was a foregone conclusion that maybe Pau Torres was going to be included in that squad as well. Simply because maybe he's not the best defender, of course, but he can certainly play as well at the back and really support the structure that De La Fuente wants in that Spanish national team. So it confuses me why he's not in there simply because he's
Hmm.
one of the best progressors from center backs in Spain right now, and he's only 17, which is ridiculous when you think about it. But um, that's really my 2 cents. Of course, on the Olympics, I just pray he doesn't get hurt. Simply
Yeah.
because we went through that situation with Pedri going to the Euros and the Olympics, so you can pray he only gets hurt. He doesn't get hurt.
That
Doesn't
was
get hurt.
child labor.
Excuse me.
That was childly. But
So
Oscar,
most
we
likely
just
Spain will start with Laporte and Robin Lenormand in the central defense, and with I think Nacho and Vivian are the two backup center backs they have in the squad right now.
Yeah,
Oscar, you
Yeah, and
I'm checking
Oscar,
the
you wanna quote what De La Fuente said? We have just posted on Twitter. If you wanna quote
I'm checking the
De La.
last squad, and is in the defense is Lenormand, Vivian from Bilbao, no, Nacho
Athletic Club.
and Laporte.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
probably yeah, I would guess that would be Laporte and Lenormand. But what is surprised me is that Cubarsi was always playing with Spain, man, in the last, I don't know, 2 3 months. For example, I was expecting more that Fermin wouldn't be, even though he should because he's amazing. But I was expecting more him to be excluded first than Cubarsi because Cubarsi was playing with Spain for a lot of time now. So I don't know. It surprised me a little bit, but of course he will be able to rest a bit. But playing the Olympic game and knowing what happened with Pedri the last time, I don't know. It doesn't give me a lot of confidence, to be
Yeah,
honest. I would have preferred
But
him playing the
on the
Euros
positive side,
than the Olympics. But I don't know.
on the positive side, I mean, I'm probably showing my age a little bit here.
Yeah.
Leo Messi, 2008 Olympics. Obviously, I mean, I think every
Yeah,
Barca fan at the
it's
time was having a massive panic about Messi going 2008, and he actually won it. And Pep was having an absolute kind of like meltdown over the fact that Messi was playing in the Olympics. But
yeah.
it's one of those that can kind of work good. It can kind of work bad. The fact that Cubarsi is playing more competitive football. Obviously it's not the same level of competition as the league or in Champions League, but the fact that he can win the trophy at 17. Okay, it's only the Olympics, but that'd be massive for Cubarsi if he can. Win the Olympics for Spain. I don't think has Spain ever won the Olympics football. I can't really
Uh,
remember.
and
those,
I mean, from
I think so,
Barca's point
but
of
a lot
view,
of time
if
ago,
we
in the 50s or 60s, something like that. If I'm not wrong, but yeah.
So yeah, there is that. There is that side of it as well. But I think fundamentally, the fact we're talking about a 17-year-old here, and we're talking about obviously Lamine, if he plays every minute of every game at the Euros, we're talking about two 17-year-olds by the end of the Euros. Barca have got to get that right in terms of the conditioning of those two players, and that's where Flick's going to come in, I think, with those two players, because you cannot afford for that to be a Pedri kind of situation, for that to be an Ansu kind of situation, because otherwise that's Barca's competitive advantage on Real Madrid is La Masia. It absolutely is that at this moment in time. That is what's going to, if anything's going to bridge the gap between Barca and Real, it's going to be La Masia. And integrating La Masia into this Barca team fully, and that's what's going to have to be the case with Cubarsi and Yamal. Ansu obviously presumably is going to be coming back this summer. Fermin as well. So it's got to be nailing the right amount of minutes for those players and not overplaying them, not allowing injuries to build up. Because if that happens, if Cubarsi picks up an injury, that's another absolutely horrendous waste for Barca in that
and
kind
if
of
we
sense.
sell Pai as well, I think we are gone.
Yeah, of course.
We shouldn't. I'll just quote what De La Fuente has said about Cubarsi. We have just posted on Twitter like 5 minutes ago. I'm grateful for the reception we have had in Palma, and I wanted to thank Alex Garcia,
Aleix, no?
Pau Cubarsi, and Marco. Yeah. I transmitted the decision to the players with total and absolute normality. It is not easy because they are very loved players who could have been perfectly well. They understood it. They said goodbye and they wished us the best. My decision with Kuvarsi has only had to do with the senior team, not with the games. I don't know what he means here. If you want to digress this, you can.
and even in like one of the reasons is this, he's keeping him out is to not to quote unquote overload him. Which if you're sending him to the Olympics, it just defeats the purpose. So I don't know what he's thinking. So I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know what he's thinking. Um,
it's a bit of
We really
I
have
don't
to
know.
question his decision making. It
It's
was
almost
because of.
like
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
conspiracy to take out Barcelona, isn't it? Really, like it's almost like
Yeah,
Real Madrid have had a little word. The Spanish national team said, "Yeah, what Cubarsi? Yeah, put him in the Olympics. Put him in the Olympics." So Barca can't have him in pre-season. It just feels like this thing never happens for Real Madrid. These kind of situations, it just seems to always happen for Barca.
That's because of the Spain versus Catalonia kind of thing, right? That they want to like cancel us out on every aspect.
Yeah, because to be honest,
Yeah, and from,
yeah,
yeah,
go on,
go
go
on,
on.
go on.
No, just gonna say that between him and Nacho, for example, I would go for him for 100%, and not because he's a Barca player, but because I don't know he's younger, fitter. I don't know. Even if Nacho did a good season with Madrid, but he's an interesting one to be honest, no. And I don't really understand the thinking about De La Fuente in that one, but I don't know. You can continue your thinking. That I will see if the chat is saying something else about it.
Yeah, we can move on to Fermin now. That he got called up for Spain, and of course got 2 assists in 30 minutes of play as a substitute. So we can talk about that. Rishabh, you want to start on Fermin playing for Spain?
It's been insane how Fermin has evolved in the last year. Like at this point, last year he was playing in the third division for Linares, and within a
Yeah,
year he has scored 11 goals for the Barcelona first team. He was the joint second top scorer for the team, I guess. And he is also going to be part of Spain squad for the European Championships. It's insane, honestly. Like he scored that brilliant goal against Madrid in pre-season,
yeah,
and he has never looked back ever since. It's
yeah,
ridiculous. And even
yeah.
we saw how his confidence has evolved. Like in first 30 minutes of his Spain debut, he contributed to 3 goals, and hopefully we can see the same of him in the Euros if he gets chances, obviously, and in the next season under Hansi Flick.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think our midfield is very much stacked. Also, coming back to the left wing discussion that we had a few minutes ago again, Fermin and Gavi can also play there.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
we do have good options on the left. We can probably focus more on the DM part, which we'll get to later. Naruto, your thoughts on Fermin?
Um, of course I am happy. Of course I am happy for him.
Sorry,
Uh,
sorry,
you
no, no.
really am happy for him. No, you're good. No, I really am happy for him. Going from the third division, then going to a role with with Barca's senior team, getting a really prominent role off the bench if he has to get some spot starts playing in different positions, to now playing for Spain and representing his country at uh, Europe's biggest tournament for international football. You can't really come up with words to describe something like that,
Mm.
especially for he's only 20 years old. You can understand, like, especially when you're younger, you're trying to push for spots like this to get opportunities like this. Then you're sent down to the third division, and it feels like the walls coming down on you a little bit, simply because you want to be in different places, higher places when you're that young, especially when you see some of the other guys in Barca's senior team, like Balde, like Gavi, like Pedri. They're getting lots of opportunities with the first team. You want to get your chances there too. So um, to see, how he kept his composure, really just kept his head down. He kept working, and he's finally getting rewarded for his play that he put on the pitch. You can only just really be happy for him. Hopefully he can continue with and show really what he's made of in the Euros, which he's gonna have a prominent role. He should, simply because of the profile that he brings, and Spain doesn't have that type of profile that Fermin brings. So uh,
Yeah, I think
happy
just to
for him.
add to this, just I just thought of this. I think Fermin and Gavi and more than Gavi, I think Fermin reminds me a lot of like Phil Foden, who can play multiple positions, who can score goals, who's all over the pitch. He can play as a 10. He can play on either wings. I think if Flick, given a great manager that he is, if he can get the best out of both Fermin and Gavi, we have some like a set of good two great players who can develop into
Hmm.
something good. What are your thoughts on that, Oscar? If you wanna shed some light on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you alluded to before, yeah, Porky, I think the biggest thing is you're looking at the dynamics of the team. Flick has said he wants to work with the players he's got, essentially. In terms of the transfer market, it doesn't feel like it feels like something that, as Barca fans, we're talking about more than probably Flick's kind of thinking about. Because
Yeah.
you look at the left-hand side, for example, you've got Balde, who is, he's a left back, but really he's more of a left wing back. Really, we know
Yeah.
how advanced Balde is. We know how good he is at taking on his opposite fullback. He's effectively a left winger on that side.
Mm.
And as you mentioned with Gavi in 2022, 2023, Gavi was playing on that left-hand side. It's more of like left-sided, kind of a
False left winger,
hybrid
no?
left wing,
Yeah, yeah.
left-sided, left-sided central midfielder. So will Flick want to do the same again to get the best out of Balde? Because do you want a natural touchline winger when you've got Balde there, or do you want someone who's further inside? And for me, that's where Fermin Lopez can come in. Combining with Pedri. We've seen this at Bayern where they had obviously Thomas Muller and Musiala. Similar kinds of player, and he found a way to get both in the same team by playing Musiala at times a little bit wider, or Muller a little bit wider. I think obviously you've got to throw in Coutinho as well when he was on loan there and played well. Unfortunately, I say with gritted teeth because that was very annoying when he scored twice against Barca and
It's incredible.
fair play didn't celebrate. But yeah, that's probably his best game I've seen from him. Unfortunately, he wasn't playing for Barca; he was playing against Barca that day. But anyway, I do look at Firmino and think, yeah, he's such a useful player to have in this squad, especially for what Flick wants. And I can see him having the big Euros as well. The fact he's got in that Spain squad. You look at the options. Look at the options Spain have got in those positions. Baena, who's had a great season, obviously he's in there. Probably, maybe ahead of Firmino at this moment in time in terms of. But I can soon see that changing. In terms of the fact you've got 5 subs as well. The fact that teams will try and defend deep against Spain, you'd imagine, especially in the group stages. What a great opportunity to put Firmino on to break a game, to make the break the deadlock in those kind of games and make the difference. And I think that's what he specialises at. I mean, it's not just the goals he scored this season; it's the magnitude of the goals he scored this season. Napoli, Real Madrid, to make it 2-2. Sorry, 2-1 up in that game. Sorry, big goals we're talking here. We're talking
even
really
against
top
Atleti.
Yeah, sorry, of course.
And
Top player. The one issue he's got is the fact that there's so many other great players in that position, kind of thing. Obviously, we know Pedri. But it's good to have competition as well. In terms of he wants to be at this moment in time. I think I've mentioned Cesc Fabregas already on this, but in terms of almost the super sub off the bench, the player who can get you a goal or assist off the bench, he feels like that's him to me. And as you said, Pulky, about Foden, in terms of Foden wasn't a starter straight away, and that doesn't bother me too much because for me in this showing, he can be just as good off the bench as what he can at the start of games.
Yeah.
Obviously, for me's own personal development, he probably wants to start as many games as possible. But from a Barca point of view, having that option who can come off the bench isn't going to cause a fuss if he's not starting games. He's not going to be a João Felix, for example, who's going to be having a word with the media as soon as he's out of the first team and things like this, or João Cancelo. There's not going to be any drama with Fermin, and it's the exact type of player Barca need. And if Barca can sign another, Fermin kind of player in goal and a Fermin kind of player at left wing and a Fermin kind of player at 6, Barca will be in a good place. But it's easier said than done.
Yeah, you said that Fermin will be a beast under Flick, and to be honest, he very will. And I think he would be he could be playing that left wing. To be honest, of course, everything depends how Flick will want to play. If he wants to have, as Oscar said, a natural left winger, probably like Rafinha or another player, then we will see. But Fermin can do the job for sure, and especially with Balde coming in and play with that 4 midfield that we did with Xavi sometimes, and maybe do something there. But just to completing the topic with Fermin in Spain, I think it's such a great news for Spain, of course for him, but because for me he's probably the best replacement that they can have for Gavi, man. Of course, as Oscar said, they have Baena, they have other players there that can play, but Fermin gives the energy, bro, the rhythm, and the guy scored goals in his first season as a professional with Barca after being at the 3rd division in Spain. The guy scored more than 10 goals. So being a midfielder, so I think it's probably the best news that Spain could have had, that he's in there. Because he gives something that
Absolutely.
I think since Gavi was injured, they didn't have a player like that, to be honest.
I think
totally.
just to add, Oscar is right. Like we can have Balde running down like Davies used to, or Davies does on the left, and because Fermin and Gavi like to come inside from the left, so we can have like a system wherein Balde is up and down the left wing because he's fast, he's young, he can run, and we can have Fermin or Gavi just coming inside from the left and scoring goals and assisting and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So I think that's
Absolutely, and it's that
one
box,
thing. Yeah,
the box
yeah, go on.
midfield, can be formed again, kind of thing. I think for me, under Xavi especially, I think Barca's best spell under Xavi, I think, came when they played the box midfield. Gavi
exactly.
playing as like the false left winger, and I definitely agree
Yeah,
there. Luki. I think another thing to mention is the elephant in the room, if you like. Quite an English phrase, this, but the elephant in the room is Florian Wirtz. In
Yeah,
terms of obviously, there's been mentions about him today, not so much this transfer window, but
the
next
next
transfer
one, huh?
window. And to me, it might be, yeah, I think 2025 is the most likely. And obviously, Wirtz is another player, a bit like Xavi Simons, a bit like Cesc Fabregas all them years ago. It's been flirting with Barcelona for quite a long time, almost saying
yeah, it's
that,
been three,
yeah,
four years, man.
I'm available, I'm here, kind of thing. Whenever you need me, just pick up the phone, that kind of thing. And it feels to me like I don't think Barca will invest that heavily in the left wing position. I think it's more of a case of, obviously having the parts there already and then being able to add the icing on the cake next summer in Florian Wirtz on that side as well. And because we have to remember Gundogan will be 35 by then, so obviously Gundogan's days as being a regular starter might maybe still be able to start regularly, but probably less minutes.
Yeah,
And
and
that
Frankie
obviously
De Jong will
presents,
leave on a free. So yeah,
yeah, it's one of those, but it just
Frenkie de
feels
Jong's
like
contract
Barca have
situation,
got the
if we
plan in
start
place.
discussing on that, we'll end in that podcast by tomorrow then.
yeah,
Yeah, Hawks is saying in the chat that I knew Fermin would be perfect for us since he scored that beautiful banger against Madrid in the preseason. Yeah, that's a very good topic, very good point, man. Because I think he won his place at the team in the preseason because a lot of players, bro. Pedri did when he first came in. Sorry, did very well in the preseason. Sorry, Gavi as
he's gotten
well.
emotional, guys. He's
Yeah,
gotten
like
emotional.
for me, so good that makes me lose my voice. And for me, in this season, there's always a preseason that a player comes in, no, for Barca. Hopefully, the next one that we'll have in less than a month probably, there will be another player that can come in. Let me just read a last comment here that is very interesting. Rage Gamer, imagine on this stream unreal stuff, guy. Thanks for you for coming, bro. Thank you. Happy that you are enjoying, man, and everybody that is on the stream. Maybe Casado, yeah, that's a very good point, man. That's the next point
Ah,
that I wanna talk with you guys. And Hawks as well was talking in the chat about Kimmich and all that. What you guys want for the CDM? What you guys feel? Do we need to sign a big player? Then we can include Marino in there because is the name that is in the news. Or do we go with Casado, Paul Pring, no, that is on the B team
and
as
Bernal
well.
also. Marc Bernal as well.
Bernales as
Um,
well. What are you guys thought? What do you think we should do? Then after
Rishabh,
that,
you
I
go first.
I give my opinions as well. But Rishab can go on.
Rishabh, your thoughts?
Well, to be very honest, I don't think either of Marc Bernal and Pau Prim are ready as of now, and Pau is even
Hmm.
behind Bernal right now. And the ideal situation would be to sign a player who is like in their peak years right now, like Mikel Merino. He'll be 28
Hmm.
in this month, I guess, and he's in the peak of his career right now. He'll give us a good few years, 3 4 years, and then we should think about bringing in Marc Bernal or someone like that in those years. Like they can have ample time to develop themselves in the B team and alternating between the B team and the first team, and Merino playing most of the games. And coming to Merino, I do think that if Flick is planning to have a system like that of Bayern Munich, which we saw at Bayern, he can be an ideal player, which we saw of Leon Goretzka at Bayern, like a proper
Yeah.
box-to-box
Mm-hmm.
midfielder who won the most amount of duels in the top 7 leagues last season. He's the actual winning machine. Who one of our great guys in Twitter he talked about, and it has become a meme now regarding Oriol Romeo.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
Romeo not for long, to be honest.
and Yeah, Romeo will definitely leave, and no doubts about that. And Merino also had the highest amount of tackles, I believe, in the top seven or top five leagues.
Yeah.
Then he has also got that last pass. He had like 8 or 9 assists in the previous season, not the recently concluded season, but the previous one. And he
Mm-hmm.
also has a knack of scoring some important goals. Like he scored against PSG this season alone, and he had some important goals in the other Champions League games as well. And so I do believe that Merino, who has his contract ending in a year, he'll be available for around 25 or 30 millions if he is not to renew his contract with Real Sociedad, and they would be also like forced to sell him for a cheaper price if he's not renewing his contract to avoid losing him for free in a year. And so I do believe that yeah, he would be definitely a very good addition to the team. He has been a brilliant midfielder for La Real over the years,
Mm.
and there's nothing to more to say. He has experience of La Liga, of the top flight, of the Champions League, of the Spanish national team. He has also had unsuccessful spells, you can say, at Borussia Dortmund and also Newcastle United before moving to Real Sociedad. And he has
Mm-hmm.
that, knack of,
Mm.
having some important goal contributions as well, apart from winning the duels, making tackles, winning balls. So I do believe that Marino would be a very good addition to the team if
Mm-hmm.
he is coming for something around 25 million or around that fee.
Naruto,
Yeah.
your thoughts on Casado?
Uh, uh, I would like Marino as well, simply because he's the profile that this midfield needs. Somebody that can physical and that can win duels, and that just goes to the broader scheme of what I would personally want to see Barca target in terms of a holding midfielder. You need a guy that can win duels, excuse me, and can bring a bit more of a physical element because that midfield, aside from Gavi, doesn't really have a lot of physical elements
Mm.
Yeah.
in that midfield. Certainly not Frankie, certainly not Pedri, certainly not Fermin, even though he's an energy guy that can really run around and put in a decent shift for you. So uh, Marino would be a pretty nice signing for personally, in my opinion, as well. Just because of that physicality that
But
this midfield needs, and
Mm.
that
Is
this midfield
it,
hasn't
yeah,
had that type of physicality
yeah. Is this
in a little bit.
contract being
So
renewed? Casado, that is.
Yeah, most likely, yeah.
So it's not
2027, I
final yet.
think. Very likely will
Yeah,
be
till
Okay.
the.
2027, it's all but
It's all but
agreed right
signed.
now.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Oscar, your
Only the
thoughts?
signature is remaining. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I look at it and say there's quite a few different options. I think the number six holding midfielder, defensive midfielder market is good. One player I do really like, I like Marino, I definitely do. But one player I do really like is Onana at Everton.
Yeah.
Um,
Amadou, Nana.
seen him quite a few times. I think in the Belgium team particularly because it's difficult to compare playing for Everton to playing for Barca because Everton play a totally different style of football and doesn't really suit Onana. But when he plays for Belgium, I think you just see a really technically secure player. Player that makes very few mistakes, makes the right decisions on the ball, and physically he'd suit a handsy flick style perfectly. I think something
Mm.
else I like about Onana is he can play as a single pivot, he can play in a double pivot, or he can play a little bit further up
Mm.
the pitch, and
And he's
that
young as
flexibility.
well, I think.
Young, yeah, exactly. It's the Marino, I think, is 28, I think, at the end of this month, which is not old. It's not old by any stretch, but in terms of Onana, something like that on the market, I think is probably a better option. But of course, the cost of Onana
Yeah.
is something that needs to be considered as well. But when Gavi's not there available, which we have to take it as Gavi's not going to be available for a while, and certainly not at his very best for a while, it says physically. The biggest thing for a Hansi Flick team is physicality, and for me, Onana brings that perfectly. But Marino is someone I'm super, super enthusiastic about as well. I think he's a great option.
Mhm.
Of course, there's the risk about the fact that it's going from playing for Sociedad to play for Barca is a big step up. But for me, I think he can make it. I think he's been so good consistently, season on season in, season out, since 2018, really. It's a great option. And I think in terms of cost, 20 million euros, it's not
Yeah.
a big investment. And if it
We can
comes
include
to
players also
it's a,
like Pablo Torre or something. We can include some players as well. We can probably get for cheap.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, for
no,
sure.
exactly that. So I think the player I'd be keen on, probably more keen on Onana because of his age profile and
Mm.
how much
Hmm.
he fits and complements the rest of the Barcelona midfield. I mean, there's other options as well. Obviously, Zubamendi as well is someone I've liked for a long time, but it's just never happening. That one. That's always going to be the one. That's always going to be the transfer that gets linked every single summer and just never happens.
Yeah,
It's never
Bernardo
going to
Silva
that
as
one
well.
realistically. Bernardo Silva, yeah, Bernardo Silva
I
will
don't want
throw it.
him. I don't want Bernardo Silva at all. Yeah,
No, but I
it's 30, man. He's
don't think
30
he will
years old.
come as well. No.
Yeah,
But
The
and I
biggest
think
question is that
Yeah.
are we going to finally have a summer transfer window without the Neymar new ones?
the
I
Neymar,
think for me, I'll go slightly
hopefully
different.
not, bro.
On,
Hopefully we do,
yeah, I
actually.
just want. Yeah. I just want in the preseason, I want Casado to just explode,
Yeah.
and we're like, we have found our DM like for the next decade or something. I want that to happen because I'm like, as Rishabh knows, I love kids,
Yeah,
and Rishabh is like, yeah,
my only doubt with Merino, man, is I don't know if he comes and imagining that Hansi Flick plays in a 4-2-3-1, which is the thing that is sad. I don't know if he will indeed, but seeing how he played in Bayern in the German national team, we can imagine that. If Marino comes, will he be like a starting player for sure? Or and if he does, someone in there will lose prominence, no? So I just don't
I
see
think
how
then
the
Frankie needs to go.
yeah, that's the point. Because if you imagine Frankie and Marino, because Frankie and double pivot can work, then what? And Pedri as a number 10, what happens with Gundogan, for example? That's my
Yeah,
only doubt. I don't know. He's a very good player, and all of the stats you guys said is true. And he scored goals, and he's athletic and gives something different. But my only doubt is if he would improve a lot the team to be a starting player, no? As a complement, as an additional player, I think he would be top. But I would
Mm.
still be feeling that
A way
maybe we need
better.
something else, no?
Uh,
Another
yeah, I
more
think a
natural
way better
pivot.
upgrade than Romeo for sure.
Yeah,
Merino,
no, for
that is.
sure, for sure. And even more better than Guido, for example. That Guido was basically
Sure.
signed, and it won't be, I think.
Yeah.
He's better
Guido was
than Guido for sure.
basically copied Mario Romeo and placed into the 2024 summer. Basically, it felt like the same
The
deal
same thing,
all
no?
over. And as you say,
Romeo is a
Octavio,
disgrace.
I think,
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
someone
it
in
was
the
wanted
just
to
chat,
get your
no.
thoughts on one. Yeah, guys, want to get your thoughts on one thing. Of course,
What?
Levy will be playing as a number 9 next season. What are your
Lewandowski.
thoughts on Vitor, Roque, and Marc Guiu?
Just
Um,
tough.
Well,
you guys
personally, I
can
would
start.
definitely like Vitor Roque to stay in the squad. He's coming from the Brazilian league. He definitely needs time to settle into his new life in La Liga at Barcelona, the city, the club. He needs time. And we should not forget that he's just 19 and he's coming to an entirely different culture to what he grew up in.
Hmm.
And regarding you, I would like to send him on loan to a La Liga club where he would have enough prominence, enough amount of minutes, and he would grow. And yeah, that's what I'd do. Keep Vitor Roque as Lewandowski's backup and loan out Margio to a La Liga club.
Yeah.
I'll sell
I would
Levy.
probably I would probably do the same, simply because a lot of people like to play mix and matching with a lot of different players and who to send on loan, who to keep, and all that stuff. But it's really about the optics, and like Rashad said, Vitor Roque, he just experienced his first 6 months in Europe, man, or first 5 or 6 months in Europe. The guy probably doesn't even know Spanish, like a full array of Spanish yet. He's still trying to get around the city and everything. He needs to settle in. So for especially for a player as young as he is. So I would probably send Guiu out on loan, simply because I think he's too good for the third division right now. So
Hmm.
he needs some more opportunities to grow as well. So
I think
just
like a
getting
Tottenham
Vitor.
would do for him as loan, like a Spurs because they're looking for a number 9.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You never know. But yeah, I would agree. Simply, of course, it could always be the wrong decision. Of course, because we all know how wrong decisions can happen with man management and everything. But sending Guiu out on loan just to get some more experience out of the third division, allowing Roque to settle in more in Barcelona, and simply because he's a good fit
Yeah.
theoretically for what Flick wants to do in his system. Honestly, lots of energy, can run around. He just has the little things in the game that he has to improve on. So I'll keep
Hmm.
Roque, allow him to settle in here in Barcelona, and then Send Guiu out alone because he seems more ready for that European experience of Roque at this moment. So that would probably be my preferred way of doing things.
What about you, Oscar Hernandez?
I totally agree. I totally agree. I think Guiu, I think, has had some great cameos this season for Barca in terms of coming off the bench and getting important goals. But I think, yeah, I think England, Germany, I think might be quite suitable for Guiu in terms of Bundesliga. Yeah, maybe a
Dortmund.
Stuttgart, someone like that. You know, in terms of pushing, maybe towards the Champions League places, kind of thing. But not maybe even maybe a Dortmund or something like that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
It's one where I think he definitely Germany feels like a good fit for Guiu.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think Roque. For me, the biggest thing with Hansi Flick, and as Octavio was talking about Frankie De Jong before, I think with Frankie De Jong and Lewandowski, I think Flick will be a lot more ruthless than what Xavi was. I think if they have, say 4 or 5 games of basically, say Frankie De Jong's having 4 or 5 games where he's just
Mm-hmm.
doing this spinning thing where he's just spinning around in circles kind of thing on the ball rather than release the ball, Frankie,
And losing
pass
the
the ball,
ball
Frankie, pass
and
it,
messing up, no?
get rid of
Like
the ball,
Griezmann
pass
passing
it,
it
Frankie.
back from the left.
All pass it back and sideways. I personally think Hansi Flick won't really stand for that. I think Frankie will be on the bench in that situation, and I think the same for Lewandowski. If Lewandowski's having games where his first touch is basically a tackle kind of thing, where it's just like the ball's bouncing off him and that kind of thing, and he's missing easy chances. I do think Flick will give Roque chances. I don't think it'll just be a case of Lewandowski, as he was under Xavi, playing every minute of every game. I think Roque will get opportunities off the bench, 20, 25-minute spells, and I think it suits Roque. I personally think he's played really well when he's come off the bench. I think he's some of the criticisms being in the context of what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting this
Hmm.
big impact kind of thing. I think the Spanish media were a little bit harsh on Roque in terms of building up to be, like David Villa or Luis Suarez was signing
A
kind
lot
of
of
thing. It's just like
expectations,
he
no?
could be
Hmm.
that kind of level. Yeah,
Yeah.
the expectation. You have to remember he's 18. Of course, Cubarsi and Yamal are younger, but Cubarsi and Yamal are the exceptions to the rule kind of thing. You have to remember, 18. He's nowhere near at his best yet. In terms of Roque is a player. He's physical. We know he's got speed, and he's a super useful player for Barca this season. And if Lewandowski has poor runs of form, then I think he will get opportunities. And something else to mention about Roque is the fact that I think he can play on the left as well. In terms of in the
Hmm.
front four, I think he could potentially, particularly if you're chasing a game and you want to keep Lewandowski on, you can get almost two strikers on, and Roque down the right hand side, making those runs for Yamal on the right. And you said before about Yamal needs the backup singers kind of thing to allow him to do his thing, and Roque can be that kind of thing for him. And I just think he's someone that really, really promising player. And for me, listen, the way Xavi was treated, and which I'm sure we're going to talk about at some point as well,
Yeah.
the one slight positive about it is the fact that Roque is staying at the club. I felt like Roque was
Yes.
kind of done if Xavi stayed. I think that was a very political signing, but I think with Flick, the fact that Roque can press from the front, the fact he can make runs in behind, and he's a physical player, I think he's a good fit for Flick's system. And
Also,
um,
people forget that the limited minutes that Rocky has got, he has played very well.
Yeah,
People just
scored two
forget that.
goals, one
Yeah.
after the other.
big goals as well.
Yeah, against Osasuna
Yeah.
and the other against
Yeah.
Laves in decent games, no?
Hmm.
In La Liga, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And
It's
also those lack of minutes did make him press a bit on that pitch whenever he did get those unexpected minutes that Xavi did put him on. And he pressed a bit. It looked like he was trying to make a moment for himself just to convince Xavi to get him more playing time, which to be honest, that's what a lot of young players do. So
Mm.
um
He
yeah,
ran
so
more than Lewandowski in 5 minutes than Lewandowski did in 85, kind of thing
yeah.
at times. It's like it was like
Hmm.
two,
Exactly.
it was like two different sports, Trey. It was crazy.
It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
You want to move on to Xavi? Yeah. Go on. Go on.
I was showing a tweet before about that. Hansi Flick, I will put it again. That Flick counts on Vitor Roque, no, and it's a player that he will have in the squad. So just to end this topic, I will do the same as you guys said. No, keep Vitor Roque, and for Guiu, try to find a loan in Probably in a Spanish club would be because I don't know. I think that is where he would have more market. But the German option that Oscar said is a very interesting, and I think he fits in there. And for Roque, man, hopefully he can have a good preseason because there's also the Ansu Fati factor that for me, honestly, it kind of a bit of I don't know. It takes my heart a little bit, man, because I was always a very big Fati fan when he came, man, and seeing that he
I
hasn't
refuse
worked.
to give up on Fatty. I refuse to give up on
Yeah,
Fatty.
my feeling is the same, man.
One more
He did
Yeah.
very recently
more
once
season,
he
guys.
succeeded
One more
Barca.
season.
The thing
He
is
gave an
that I don't
interview
know
recently.
if can be both, you know, if can be Fati or Roque. I think probably will be only one of them in the squad. So that's what I say. The one that makes the best preseason probably will be the one that stays. But probably now I would say, especially because of the physical parts, I think Roque is a bit
Yes.
a bit ahead, man. Even if he didn't play a lot this season and all of that, but I think he's fitter than Fati, man. It hurts me to say, but
And let's not forget
Mhm.
Fatih still wearing the number 10 shirt. Let's not
yeah,
forget that.
exactly, man. And the thing that he didn't even play at Brighton, bro. That's the most
Yeah.
worrying part for me, man. I thought the loan
No,
in Brighton
it is a worry.
would have helped him a lot because the Zerbi plays a lot of young players and all that, and the style as well. But he basically didn't play. Had another injury, so yeah, I don't know, man. I think
I think he
Flick
just
struggled
learned
before.
English
He's
and came
covered
back.
careers before, though. Hansi Flick at Bayern, in terms of Serge Gnabry, for example, in terms of wasn't really
Ferran.
going anywhere in his career until we worked under Flick, and maybe a lot of this is maybe fatty tinted glasses, kind of looking at it, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Very, but I do really think that Yamal and Fatty in pre-season, it does feel to me one of Fatty or Roque will have a really good pre-season, and possibly even both. Will have where they'll score 3 or 4 goals, really put themselves in the limelight. Probably, as you say, Octavio, more likely to be Roque out the two, but Fatty as an option on the left hand side or up front is a good option. And still, we'll go back to João Felix slander. Still a better option than João
For
Felix for
sure,
me.
man. For sure. Oh, maybe
Imagine if Fatih explodes in pre-season. Imagine if that happens.
maybe this can be a unpopular opinion by me, but I think if Fati is able to recover his form, which before the injury, which of course is very difficult because the injury was a very serious one. But if he can, man, I think we would have the left wing problem solved for sure. Because probably you guys
Yeah.
remember how he played before the injury, man. The guy was flying, man, scoring every time. The things that Lamine is doing now, Fati was doing before he was injured. All of the records, the youngest player to score in the Champions, youngest to score in La Liga and all of that, youngest to score for Barca. Fati was that, man. So if he can, I think it would be the best option. But I don't know if he will. And if I had to bet, probably he won't. Cotter says the loan to Brighton was horrible.
Though.
Yeah, it didn't work, bro. It definitely didn't work for sure, man. Surprisingly so. But go
I
on,
still have
Oscar.
the dream of Yamal, Roque, and Fatty as a future front three. I still
Wow.
have that dream.
That would
Yes.
be.
I have a dream.
Nah, that would be probably the dream of all of the Barca fans, no? But I don't know how
You remember when we
realistic
dreamt
it is
of
for now.
Ricky Puig exploding?
Yeah,
our
Ricky
dreams of
Puig,
Ricky Puig being that
Nico
guy?
Gonzalez, all of those players, man.
Nico Gonzalez and all of
In
that,
the pandemic, bro. In the pandemic, there were a lot that came. The Turkish one, there was Demir, Akomak. There was a lot that came.
Yusuf
And,
Demir,
Yeah,
man.
Yusuf
do you remember this guy? No.
That was a time, man. That was a time.
to think that we went from Demir, Akomak, all of those players, bro. The other one,
Yeah,
Jude
yeah.
Gla,
Ferran
to
Jude
Levan,
Gla.
Jude Gla, to
Ferran Jude
no,
Gla, yeah.
they
Gla,
were good
yeah,
players,
yeah.
man. But to go from them to Lamine, to Leva, to Vitor Roque, bro, it's just kind of crazy, to be honest.
I still remember that game when Nico and Gavi both scored.
Barca
Nico
21
scored,
was
I think,
vibes,
3
yes.
won that game.
Which
They
one?
scored
Which
in the
one?
last
Sorry.
minute. the one I don't remember who we played against. I think it was Nico scored and we won 3-2. He scored the third goal,
Ah, yeah, I remember,
something
man.
like that.
I think it was
Yeah,
against Elche, man. And it was like a
yeah,
game that I think Barca was 4 or 5 games without winning before that, and it was in a difficult phase
yeah.
with Xavi. Well, it was at the beginning of Xavi, but with a lot of injuries and all of that,
Mm,
man. And I
Yep.
remember Gavi had a like a Messi-esque performance in the game. I remember the goal that he scored. That
yeah,
he got the
yeah. I
ball
remember.
in the midfield and the rule ever won. It was crazy. Someone said in the chat, man, a name that isn't interesting one to see your guys' opinion. Ferran, man, Ferran Torres, because it's incredible to see there is a lot of players in Barca attack, man. We're talking about signing a left wing, but you have João Felix, Ferran, Fati coming back. But the thing is that none of those
Rafi,
options are convincing,
Gavi,
you know.
I mean,
But
yeah,
just to
we do
start, I think Ferran probably should be one of the first players to be sold, man. Honestly, I don't know how much we can get from him in terms of money. I don't
I
know,
think,
if
but
25, 30
he
million, something
plays,
like that. No, if we can,
but he plays very well for Spain.
yeah, that's the thing,
He
man.
does play very well.
And he plays
Yeah,
in basically all the positions in the attack, man. But I don't know, just
Yeah.
it's not consistent, you know. Has 2 3 games very
Yeah.
decent, but then I don't know, loses his pace, goes to the bench. I don't know, man. He's
and he's injury prone as well.
yeah, injuries
Yeah,
a
Yeah.
lot as well.
Well,
that's an issue. And I think the other thing as well is with Varane is that he's always going to be quite a limited player. He's not someone who's going to take on a fullback and
Mm-hmm.
create
Yeah,
chances. He's always going to be someone who's it's just all about making the running behind and getting chances. And he's not the
yeah.
most clinical
Mm.
either. I do like him as a player, but I think Barca have got to be thinking bigger now on that left hand
Mhm.
side. And I think I'd rather persist with Ansu Fati, for example, than Ferran, because I just think Ferran has kind of hit his ceiling already, kind of thing, which is a very decent player, but probably not Barca starting quality. And I think in terms of
Mhm.
the fee you can get for Ferran, you can easily get a decent fee for Ferran. So you think about
sure.
the financial fair play point of view, getting back to 1-to-1 on
Mm-hmm.
the transfer side of things. I think a Ferran really helps that. And my unpopular opinion is I've kind of got a similar view on Frankie as well in terms of
Yeah,
both players where I think the age they're at in terms of how long they've been at long at Barca for a long time now as well.
Yeah,
We're talking this is the fourth season for Ferran. What is it, the sixth or seventh for Frankie?
Frankie
I think
since
Barca would
2020,
rather
no,
be
2019, no, 2019
20.
season.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think 2019. Was it 2019? I think it was just
It
before
was after
COVID. I
the
think.
season with Ajax, no? That was 18-19. He came in the
Yeah,
19-20,
I
no?
think it
yeah,
was 2019.
yeah.
But
I think
it's a long time
I
we're
wouldn't
talking about
mind.
here.
I wouldn't mind like a swap between Merino and Ferran Torres. I think that'd be good.
A swap. I don't
That,
know if
that,
a swap,
yeah,
man,
that
but probably selling for Ferran for 25 to 30 million, and with that money
mhm.
getting Marino probably could be an option, no?
Yeah. The other factor that I don't know if this is still a factor or not, but the amortization on Ferran's transfer from City to Barcelona, I don't know if that still has to take its course yet. But that's another thing you have to take into
It's
effect when it comes to selling Ferran. Of course, it's in a better position simply because that transfer happened, 2020 around that time. That
21, I think.
21,
2021,
Before
I
the
21.
winter
21,
of
yeah.
Yeah,
2021.
the same.
hmm
It was in
So
the same
I
window with Alba, no?
Oba, yeah. 2021
yeah.
January. Yes.
So it should the amortization should be in a better spot, but depending on what that amortization is, Barca probably have to be careful in terms of the amount they would accept for France, simply because
Yeah.
you can only accept an offer so cheap until with the amortization it just turns into pretty much a useless transfer. So um, that's the other factor. Probably, yeah. Of course, the other factor is that of course, like Oscar said, he probably has reached the ceiling. He is a useful player, but the thing, I think probably just the biggest asset of him with his movement and everything, being able to aid within that forward line. So, um,
Yeah.
it would be a different conversation if he was a guy who could do something on his own instead of relying on service like a straight center forward, but he can. So I would probably of course be on board throwing him as well. It just depends on amortization and just the fee. So
because the thing with him
Yeah.
is that I think he's neither a natural winger, neither a natural forward.
Mm-hmm.
No, he can do the job in all of the
Yeah.
positions, but as Oscar said, he doesn't really go in 1v1s. No, is rarely that we see. And as a forward, he can do the job
Mm-hmm.
as well, sometimes, especially running behind the defense. I think that's probably his best quality. Playing behind those runnings that he does very well. But for
Mm.
example, playing
Mm-hmm.
against a very very deep team in La Liga, Getafe, someone like that. He's in the forward that they want because he's not a guy
No, no.
to
For that, we have Fermin and Rafinha, Lamand,
exactly.
Yamal type of people, yeah,
Yeah,
who
or
can run.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm.
all of those players I mean and all of that. I don't know.
Mm.
Oscar was going to say something, and I interrupted. No.
No, no, I just think what I'd say is, I think I said it before. I think Barca, for me on that left hand side, probably do need to sell one of Fati or Ferran. But I think for two reasons, I go with Ferran. I think there's more
Conquer.
market value for Ferran at this moment in time because he's obviously has come off the back of a decent season in the Liga, and the fact he's older than Fati as well. I just think for Barca, being smart, I think I'd rather just persist with Fati as like a second choice left winger. See if you can get some kind of level back to sort of like 2021, 2020 kind of
Mm.
era kind of thing from Fati. It
Mm-hmm.
feels more
Mm-hmm.
likely that will happen than Ferran becoming,
Mm.
you
And
know, the
also,
second coming of BS, for example.
depending on what kind of euros does Varane have, that will determine his market value as well. If we are to sell him,
Yeah,
so I think
exactly. Yeah.
euros will play a major role in his ceiling.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
think if he does
Oh,
good
yeah, brilliant,
Euros,
young
probably
man.
would be it would increase his value. No, someone said Koffer
Yeah.
in the chat said an interesting comment. If they sell Rafinha and left us with Ferran, I would lose it. Yeah, no, that would be just the end. No, but no, I doubt
Yeah.
Well,
that would happen.
that is the issue. That's the panic I've got with Barca in terms of it's all well and good saying we can get 80 million for Rafinha, but if that leaves you with Ferran Torres and
Yeah, there's
unfortunately a
always like
half fit Ansu Fati, it's not great.
a lack of planning, no, at Barca. For example, in 2022, we signed Lewandowski, of course, but we sold Alba because of the financial situation and kept Memphis, and then Memphis went out 6 months later, no, and we were left only with Leva as the forward. So like those type of things, like this improvisation at Barca that happens a lot sometimes, which is I don't think is beneficial for the club. No, if they happen,
Barca keeps
Laporta should resign. That is another topic, man. But I think if the guys agree, I think Laporta we can let to another stream, because I think we can have a full stream talking about Laporta and all of his decisions, man. But yeah, it wouldn't. It would be another decision that will go to the list, no. But yeah, what were you guys saying? Oscar, Pook?
I think
I think
Laporta
the
needs
thing
to
is,
go.
sorry, mate.
And with Laporta,
To go,
honestly,
no, but
because
it's only 2 years to be honest. So I think we can.
no, you see, man, in those 2 3 years, whatever, he has um, let go of Messi.
Uh huh.
He let go of Koeman, and he treated Xavi so disrespectfully. Three club legends, man. Three
Yeah.
club legends under his and that Laporta's reign left in such a bad in such a bad way. I think, and with all the levers and all, he has sacrificed the future for sure. Uh, I just think that it's not in him anymore. I think he's too old to run the club. I think and with of course Tebas and all are making it difficult for Laporta to run the club and everything.
No, for sure.
But I think he's just out of his depth and out of ideas. Of course, he will always be a legendary president. He has given the club so much success, and there'll be a lot of respect for him. But I think before before the fans are like out with Laporta out slogans, I think he should really leave before that happens, because that time is coming very soon because of his decisions and what everyone is talking about. Any thought, Naruto, on this?
On Laporta and everything.
Yeah.
Um, gosh, that's. I don't have. Look, I promise you, when Barca were in the rut, like the deepest depths of hell, when he arrived, I thought he was the guy that was going to bring stability and make the necessary moves to put Barca,
Me too.
back among the pedestal of big clubs that this club has seen itself stand on for many, many years. But it seems like he's been way too, I won't say reactionary. I'll just say that his love for the club has altered his judgment, I believe, at some times when it comes to trying to push Barca back into the spotlight. The whole Negreira thing, of course, I've always been almost skeptical of it anyway, simply because of the evidence and everything. But I remember there was a time, I believe it was around Christmas time in 2022, 2022, 2020, yeah, 2022. There was I think it was like a little luncheon or whatever for uh, Barca, not just the football side of things, but other aspects of the club and everything. And he brought about that whole thing about Madrid being the regime and everything,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which that's just playful banter at a point, of course, just playfully bantering another team, calling another club this or that, whatever, that's fine. But the avalanche of negativity that came along with that, especially at a time when Barca were still trying to bring themselves back to a respectable level, I felt like it was a little bit unnecessary. Um, and I think that can go back to the structure in which he's shaping up with the club. The over personal relationships with agents like Mendez, like Lewandowski's
Piniza.
Zahavi.
agents.
Zahavi.
Yeah,
Zahavi.
Zahavi. Um, the over personal relationships with agents. The structure in which he's uh, putting unqualified guys in um, really difficult positions to maintain their roles. So um, he's done good. He's look, compared to Bartomeu,
Nah, for sure.
Laporta's a saint, man. He's a saint, man. But it's not fair to ignore the other negatives that Laporta has brought to the table. Of course, the deal with Libero that's delayed Barca's
Yeah, 40
return to
million.
Nah,
some.
Yeah.
that's
hmm
that
uh,
doesn't make sense, bro.
Barca's return to the 1-to-1 rule. It doesn't make sense at all to me either.
Also,
Just
letting go of Matteo Alemany and Ramon Planes, I
hmm
think it was a very bad move.
That's the
Yeah,
point for
Yeah.
me,
I
man.
think that move was
No,
more so about ego and control, man. Laporta wants. I don't know what it is, but it's. I can't really. I don't want to say anything, over too rashly and just start throwing thoughts out there. But the trend of very qualified guys leaving this project after about a year and a half into their tenures within the club is concerning. It's really concerning to me. Like with
Yeah.
Alemany, that's concerning to me. I don't. We don't. We'll probably never know the reasons why Alemany did leave. Whatever the Spanish media throws out there, you can only take with a grain of salt, except for a couple guys, because we know how the Spanish media is, man. But
Yeah,
um,
man. The most toxic people
it's
in the
Yeah,
tough.
world.
one says one thing, the other says the other, and nobody
Yeah.
knows what happens.
hmm
No, but I think
So
that
it's tough, man.
that was the down point
Yeah, go on, go on.
with no, sorry, with Laporta, man. I think losing Alemany, man, probably because Alemany was kind of the guy that he had. Uh, if we compare in his first tenure, when he had Chiqui Bergstein, he had that kind of guy that the sporting thinks he was that guy was the man, no, in terms of
And Ferran
transfers.
Soriano also.
Yeah, for answer. And it was Alemany and Jordi Cruyff, both, no? And together with Xavi,
hmm
lead the sporting staff, no?
Mm.
And those guys, what happened in the pitch and about football things, they were the guys that controlled. But when they left, I think
hmm
Carlo Laporta lost those men, no? And he tried with Deco, but that didn't work out yet. And he kind of, I think Laporta is sometimes is too, as a president, man, he tries to be involved in some decisions that shouldn't be his decision, no? I mean, things
Yeah.
Exactly.
about players, about even about signings, man. Of course, he's the president. He should know everything that happen in the club, man. But who has to decide signings, man, is the manager with the sporting director, man. And Laporta's
Yeah.
at least this season, it seems to me, for example, the Joao signings, man, it was Laporta 80%, man, because of his relation with
Xavi
Hernandez.
did not want them, of
Exactly.
course.
Cancelo, I think so, but
Yeah, I mean,
Felix, no.
one
For
thing to
sure.
say is it feels like Laporte. I mean, what Laporte is doing now, it might seem like quite a harsh thing to say. It's not that different to the first tenure because you have to remember
Yeah.
things like the Ronaldinho signing.
Yeah,
The
yeah, as
Ronaldinho
well.
signing was first he wanted David Beckham, then he wanted Ronaldinho. Frank Rijkaard had no kind of say in any. Of course, if anyone wants Ronaldinho, but it was kind of like that was Laporta then kind of thing. And I think
Yeah.
obviously Soriano, Bergestein kept him in check almost kind of thing. They were like
Mhm.
him. Yeah, give Laporta great credit. He surrounded himself with great people. Obviously, Johan Cruyff had a big involvement at that time as well in terms of obviously the influence of Laporta to make the Guardiola appointment rather than Mourinho back in 2008.
Mhm.
So it feels to me Laporta's kind of pushing all this time around. The difference between this time and last time is that he's pushing the football people away, kind of thing. Obviously, Planes,
Yeah.
Alemany, Jogi
Planes, that's
Cruyff,
the other one. Yeah.
people who gave him great advice, really, in terms of how to run the club. And Deco, with the greatest respect, great player for Barcelona, but you wouldn't really trust Deco to run a bath, to be honest. He just you would not trust him to run the sporting part of your
Yeah.
operation because let's be
Mhm.
honest, Deco, he wasn't exactly the most professional footballer in the world in terms of
And he was an
antics
agent
on
before he
the
became
pitch.
the sporting director. He was an agent. He was not a sporting director working
Exactly.
for
No,
some
So
other club.
but as an agent, man, for
he comes
example,
in for
the Rafinha deal, he was one of the reasons that it happened. And in that kind of
Yeah.
environment, I think he was doing well as an agent, man. Trying to put players and
yeah,
all of that. But as a sporting director, man, I don't know, doesn't
it
go.
just doesn't feel right. It just feels
Yeah.
to me like Deco and Laporta chase the shiniest new toy all the time, kind of thing. It was
Mhm.
like, it is. I mean, you go back to say that Alba and Lewandowski. Alba was doing great for Barca, in terms of goal after goal after goal, and obviously Lewandowski, we know how good he is, but in terms of the financial commitment that Barca had to put together to sign Lewandowski, to get rid of Aubameyang when there were other positions that needed more were more of a priority than
Reinforcement.
Yeah.
say the centre
Mhm.
forward position. And
But
you look
Xavi
at other
wanted
ones.
Lewandowski, right? Xavi also wanted him. It was
Of
not the
course, of
Laporta sign
course.
fully. Yeah.
But it
And the,
feels to me like other bits and pieces as well. In terms of Oriol Romeo, for example, it felt like because he had a great season at Girona, it was like, right, let's go and sign Oriol Romeo. Let's get a database up and look at number sixes who have had great seasons to replace Sergio Busquets. But when you say it out loud, Barcelona replaced Sergio Busquets with Oriol Romeo. They decided to keep Memphis Depay and sell Antoine Griezmann. They decided to obviously get rid of Aubameyang altogether. Jordi Alba they replaced with Marcus Alonso. Which of ones have we got? Gerard Piqué was replaced with Eric Garcia.
Mhm.
I mean, it's so many positions where you're thinking, what is the thought process here? Like, what
Mhm.
in terms of, it's bad enough seeing people like Messi leave the club, but when you have the perfect replacement for Messi already at your club in Griezmann, it's like and letting it both go in the same summer. You're thinking, what is the thinking here? And that all to me comes from the fact that the Porter doesn't have enough sporting people around him, and I think that is quite
Mhm.
an important thing to get right. For me, I don't think Deco will be at the club much longer. I do think he has. For me, Deco has to get this transfer window right. Otherwise, I don't think he'll be here for the January one. I really do.
Mhm.
And more than anything, as Pulky said, the fans will turn very quickly on the Porter next season if the
They
team doesn't start
already
well.
turned, you remember, in the last two games of Xavi,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
fans were chanting Laporta out, or something like
And
that.
that will come back next season. If the
Yeah.
first two or three games don't go to plan, that will
Yeah.
come back, and that's got to be on the Porter's mind. And for me, another thing as well is that it might sound quite a harsh thing to say about Hansi Flick, but it feels to me like the Porter's got half an eye on the 2025 managerial market. The fact that
Mhm.
Klopp
He sure
will
does.
be back from a sabbatical, the fact that Pep, it looks
Yeah,
like he will be
will be
out
out
for
of
Man
contract.
City.
Yes.
It feels to me, listen, we all want Hansi Flick to work out. I think Hansi Flick can work out, but it feels to me like the Porter's planned his backup plan before the Flick even got appointed, thinking that okay, if Flick doesn't work out, can go to one of these and get them to take the job, kind of thing. But
If he gets Guardiola
should-
back, we are back, Oscar. Then we are
Yeah,
surely
yeah.
back.
I mean, the thing is, if Flick doesn't work out and then Laporta can't get Pep, he can't get a Klopp, he can't get a Nagelsmann, he's finished. If that happens, honestly, this season, Laporta's whole tenure does come on this season. And we have to remember, in the first tenure, Laporta almost got voted out. He only stayed in because Pep kind of, I wouldn't say Pep bailed him out, but Pep's team was so successful, it changed kind of the perception of that
Perspective, yeah.
time. But you have to remember, the last 2 seasons of the Rijkaard, it was a disaster, really. Not in terms of the
After
way
winning the
Laporta.
UCL, it was a disaster.
Yeah, no, of
Yeah.
course. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. But it just feels it's a high risk season this for Barca. If it works out, great. But if it doesn't, I think certain people are going to be in a lot of trouble in terms of the Barcelona futures. But guys, I'm going to have to jump off anyway. It's been an absolute pleasure.
It's
See you
1
guys anyway.
p.m. here, so I'm also going to jump off.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
think
same thing.
I don't know if there's something else that you guys want to talk about. If not, I think we can end because we are almost 2 hours in. Let me see just another comment in the chat. Then we are lucky that Flick agreed to come. To be honest, it's a mess here. I think looking at all the options that we had, bro, available as a manager, of course, knowing that Xavi wouldn't stay, I think he's probably the best man. And I think he's a guy that can bring Barca to a level that we are not at the moment, which is the most important thing. Pep won't come back to Barca. Well, let's see. I don't think as well, but let's see. Laporta keeps on firing people. He should fire himself now. But yeah, he doesn't have a lot of time long, to be fair. But I think that's gonna be it, lads. I can let a less word for every one of you guys if you want. Oscar, Pookie, and Trey, if you want, then we
I just
finish.
had a lot of fun, guys. I hope we can do this more often. Maybe
sure,
once
for
the Euros and the Copa America are over, then we can discuss more about the window because then things will move more. So we'll love to do this again with you guys.
For sure.
100%, 100%, and hopefully we'll have made tons and tons of signings. We'll have built the super team. Yeah, it'll be no longer the Madrid super team. It'll be the Barca super team. But we'll see, guys. We'll see. But yeah, I'd love to do this again, guys.
Yeah. Hopefully we can do it again. It was real fun.
Imagine if these Galacticos are like losing all the cups into Barca, like that happened. This has happened before. So
It has.
Why does
Very
it
similar situation.
It happen once, can happen twice. No, hopefully for Barca.
Yeah.
But yeah, great team, guys. No, for sure. I enjoyed a lot. Hope as the lad said, hopefully we can do more times, and we're gonna be here to talk Barca, Copa America, Euros, and everything that you guys want, of course, related in football. But yeah, I think that's gonna be
good
it.
Night.
Let's good night, good afternoon.
See you later.
See you. Bye. Ciao.
All right.
But yeah, lads, I think that's gonna be it for today. Thank you everyone that tune in and keep up with the BarcaBuzz media, man. The lads will say when we will be back in the stream with the streams. Hopefully, probably I don't know if next week or whenever they want, and we'll be back. But it was a pleasure. Thank you everybody that tuned in. Kofa, Ius, everybody that was on, man. In the chat, Parfa, Kicker, everyone that was in there. Sorry if I missed somebody, and yeah, good weekend for all you guys, and we see you soon. Bye bye.